What is a fun and interesting way to use a ghost or ghosts in your Dungeons and Dragons game, your Pathfinder game, your RPG? Frankly, I don't care what game you're running.
Okay, all right. So if you want to do kind of a really heavy and like tearjerkery one, sorry, I watch a lot of true crime. So when I say I am a creep, I mean that. Okay, so if you want something that's kind of like heavy and emotional, I like the idea of all the kids in your village are dying. Love this idea. Yeah. And it's because there's a little kid ghost that's lonely, so he keeps like tricking the kids into dying. And the party has to deal with that.
That is a tragic idea. The darkest version of Casper.
It's my worst one, you guys. It's the worst one. I'm so happy we started with ghosts, because if we had ended on it, then that would be like what you would remember the most vividly. It's probably still going to be the thing that you remember the most vividly.
I will say, before I give my answer here, that I also have a dead kids one, but not for this question, for a different question.
High five!
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so my answer for this one would be that I think the best use of a ghost, because sometimes I'm a little mean with my DMing, and I really like... I think the players like it when they can fail a challenge because the DM actually managed to outsmart them. So I'm always looking for ways to get a leg up on players. One of the first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to like interesting ways to use ghosts is to have situations appear where NPCs are in possession of knowledge that they shouldn't have unless someone betrayed the players, but the actuality is that there's a ghost. Someone who is dead that the players are not aware of is the one passing on knowledge and stuff. So you kind of get that mystery angle on it. You can do it a lot with you could do it like with like a throwaway NPC that they killed while they were level 1, and they come back 7 levels later and are like thwarting the players by providing knowledge and stirring up trouble, basically.
William, you're giving me goosebumps now. I swear in fact, was there a movie called Goosebumps that even seemed to have a story kind of
there was a whole series about that.
Yeah. TV show.
R.L. Stein, baby. Can I just say that I very desperately want my very own ghost informant, like straight up. He can lie to me. Like, that's fine. I'll forgive him.
You know how you get a ghost informant in D&D is you just hire an informant and then you kill them. And now you have a ghost informant. Easy peasy.
Well, I worked at as a theater reviewer for over a decade, so let's steal from Shakespeare. He had 54 plays, and he had ghosts in 6 of them. So if you wanted to, use a ghost for exposition or to get a story started, he's like, hey, Hamlet, go kill Claudius. Don't do anything else. Don't think about it. Don't put on a play. Just go kill Claudius and everything works. There's your plot hook. You take somebody that the party was affiliated with, somebody that they cared about, and then you kill them. And later on, you bring them up as a ghost to, give them a story arc. Or you do Richard III and you just haunt them with all the people they shouldn't have killed, but they killed anyways. And if they really screwed up, you go out with Banquo or Julius Caesar, and you have their murder victim show up and say, hey, what up? And you just steal. That was his whole thing, was the good ones were, him throwing these things out because they're memorable, especially if they're not in the story at any particular point. All of a sudden, ghosts. And you can really mess with a party by that. They're not there to fight. They're just there to pass on some information, even if the information isn't something they want to hear. TSR can strip Willie Shakespeare's bones for ideas. So can you.
First of all, I had to also resist the informant idea because I've been heavily influenced by movies like Ghost, Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, as well as Just Like Heaven, the lesser-known Reese Witherspoon and Mark Ruffalo movie, where, it's just the ghost can appear to someone and they have important things to say, but it's only like 1 or 2 people that can hear them. That's pretty common. One thing I did that I had a lot of fun with was when I ran Curse of Strahd. There's a ghost in the castle, the 5th edition Curse of Strahd module. There's a ghost there who isn't hostile and is pretty much a victim. And so I kind of made her this like, I want to get out of here type of ghost. And so she asked a party member if she could like possess them, basically. And so she did. And every once in a while, she'd have something to say while they were out and about doing things. And they'd often forget she was even still possessing him. But every once in a while, she'd have something to say. So that kind of informant thing. But another thing I did in that campaign was someone had a Geash spell, spelled Geas, Geash spell put on them. But I didn't want to just have it be the spell of like, oh, your brain explodes if you do something. So I had someone's hand get cut off and replaced by someone else's hand. And so it was kind of like a ghost hand of a Geash spell. So like they couldn't use their bow against Strahd because the Geash spell would stop them. Like the hand literally wouldn't do that. And so ghost can be a fun way to reflavor certain spells to be more eerie and less just like an enchantment sort of thing. That's one way to do it.
It almost kind of has that Evil Dead feel where Ash
Yes.
has to lop off the hand because it's no longer his.
I was going to say they did it in the movie Two of Me with Lily Tomlin and just the two of us or whatever, Lily Tomlin and Steve Martin. And it was also in Lost City, the module, B4, I believe, where you were possessed by somebody who was there to get you through the part of the story.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
it was-
I remember Steve Martin going bananas with his hands. So that's where
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Classic Steve Martin. Also, Jim Carrey in Liar Liar trying to write with the pen and fighting with his own hand.
Idle Hands, Devon Sawa.
And yeah.
If
Nice
we're
one.
all doing one, I mean.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to what we were talking about. I do really like it when ghosts aren't just an enemy to be fought. I do like fighting ghosts or making my players fight ghosts. I like it when ghosts have some kind of like unfinished business or unfulfilled quest or whatever that they have to do, and you can help them pass on, feel good about yourself, and do a cool ghost thing. We have a bunch of that stuff already. My stupid idea was that we often see the theme of like, oh, a haunted house where ghosts possess objects within a house, and usually it's a bunch of ghosts, whatever. I like the idea of an exceptionally powerful ghost that has possessed the entire house. Like it's a haunted house, but not in the way that you think like, oh, there are ghosts living within inside a house. Like the entire house is being manipulated by a ghost. And then you can, there's some old animated movie called Monster House that came out, I want to say like over a decade ago. I don't know if you guys remember that, but you can do stuff like that where you have like an actual sentient house that is being haunted by people. And I feel like that has potential to be very silly, but you could also make it kind of serious and compelling if you gave that structure some kind of like dark history that tied in with the lore of the land, so to speak, following in line with, you know, there are things we'll never understand about some of these strange events happening around this location. And also I just like the idea of making the players fight a giant house in the climactic battle of the module, if they choose to go the combative route anyway.
Where do you find a stat block for a house?
For a house, that's a good, yeah, I don't know, call a realtor?
Curse of Strahd, Death
Mimic,
House.
Ravenloft.
Oh,
mimic, the house mimic.
The house hunter
Thingy.
mimic?
I didn't know there was a
Yeah.
house
Mimic
mimic. Well, there
colony.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ravenloft is definitely going to be your prime
They-
real estate for
they-
sentient houses.
Haunting of Hill House, classic story, where it was the entire house was haunted by one guy.
Absolutely.
Terrible play, worst movie.
But it could be your
interesting story.
D&D campaign. Yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of taking things that are interesting concepts that were poorly executed by Hollywood or whoever and being like, oh, we could do this with a bunch of nerds sitting around a table, though. Maybe make it better. Anyways,
Well, no one cares if you steal bad ideas and just do them better. That's the one thing that no one will ever call you on improving on a bad idea.
that's true. That's true. Weirdest episode of House Flippers ever.
And I mean that's been used not that long ago because Curse of Strahd, the Death House, is very much like that. And that
Is the
it'd
With
Death
dead
House
kids.
sentient? Oh man, that's a twofer.
yeah, that's right. You
I
get
know the
dead kids.
title of this episode already.
Ah,
If
I don't know
YouTube
what it
didn't
is.
shut down anything relevant to what you're thinking, it would definitely be the Dead Kid special.
The Dead Kids episode.
I had my entire group die. It's called a TPK, Total Party Kill. Okay, or total party botch up. These things can happen for a variety of different reasons, not necessarily the Dungeon Master's fault, okay? And then, like, what do we do? So one time I decided they were all going to come back as ghosts. So you take the monster stat block for the ghost and you turn it into a template, which is my next idea, is like use the ghost monster as a template to put it onto other monsters. And I just let them continue playing through the adventure while they were dead, which has a lot of benefits, frankly, apart from being able to handle stuff, like picking up stuff like, oh, I found this cool weapon. I've got a magical sword, but I cannot hold it for any length of time because I'm dead. Like, it just passes through me. I picked it up and I concentrated, and it was in my hand for 6 seconds, and now it's on the floor. Darn it. So you don't want to be dead for too long if you can help it.
That's not
so
the quote
I've done
of
that.
the episode. I don't know what is.
Yeah, try not to stay dead for too long.
If
Look,
you can help it.
That's good advice for anyone.
General advice. Yeah.
Can I say something that bugs me about ghosts and see what you guys think? So, I have beef with like paladin oaths where it's like, why isn't just like everyone a paladin if it's like you just need to have conviction and it's been like removed from like deities and stuff like that. Similarly, ghosts, why doesn't everyone just become a ghost? Like, everyone's got unfinished business. It's not like they were like, ah, yes, I died when all my business was wrapped up, you know.
Good.
You know, and on that note, to expand on that, isn't that like an adventuring party's job is to kill people so that they have unfinished business? I feel like adventuring parties would be just tailed by hundreds of ghosts by the end of a
ghost
Oh
campaign.
my god, can you f***ing imagine? You're like, haha, I've got the jewels. Now all I need are my henchmen to bring in the heroes. And they kill you, right? And you come back as a ghost and you're like, damn it, Rizzer Frazzer. And then here comes Zach Baggins and he's like, I'm gonna get you. And then you get killed again. Can you imagine?
By Zach Baggins,
Oh.
D&D Ghost Hunter. Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's terrible. Oh my gosh.
The BBEG could pull a Aragorn and just like, I summon you to fulfill your oath and kill the adventuring party that killed all 200 of you or something like
But
that.
then they'll become ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. So just Ghost War. That's where the real campaign starts, is like in the ethereal plane where everyone's a ghost.
Ghost.
It's like
They have-
it's like
I
the
feel like
series
if
finale
you're
of
doing-
Seinfeld.
If you're making like consequences for the metaphysics of your world, I feel like every fantasy world with ghosts is just going to end up being a world of nothing but a repeated cycle of ghosts.
Go grab the Ghost Walk setting. They made a D&D setting specifically for playing nothing but ghosts.
Ghost Walk? I've not heard of that.
Yeah,
I haven't
it was like
heard
a
of
one
that.
book wonder for the 3.5 setting. But it was definitely a D&D setting, and you were all ghosts.
I think
Gotta write
there's
that
a White
down.
Wolf setting like that as well, isn't there?
Nobody likes to talk about Wraith the Oblivion. Nobody.
That's
even-
So
the
if
one.
somebody dies in that setting, do they become a ghost too?
What in
A greater ghost.
In Ghost Walk?
Yeah.
In Ghost Walk, you have to have like a strong tie, and to like turn into a ghost. Wraith the Oblivion was the one that was like so dark that it partially killed the line. It was the only of the original 5 World of Darkness that they kind of killed it, because when they came out with the source book to the Holocaust, that didn't go over too well.
I don't imagine it did.
Didn't know about that one. Ouch.
So I did a
many
review on
sound
that one. It's
bites
like it was tastefully done. It was done by a descendant of a Holocaust survivor, but nobody wants to play, the worst war crime and human in the history of humanity.
Yeah, that's
It's a very
big
good
time.
point,
Like,
something.
this would make a poignant story and not necessarily something I want to sit around and like have beers with my friends and roll dice while pretending to be a ghost of a Holocaust victim. Jeez Louise.
So one of the things that I was leading on, and it's funny that you guys went in that direction, because since we now have Ghost Monster as Ghost template, come on, Wizards of the Coast, get it together and get those templates sorted out. We used to have them. Ghostbusters campaign, Dungeons and Dragons. Like, it's the natural progression. You want to fight ghosts? Well, there's lots of different types of ghosts, because you've got that template, and you just go all Ghostbusters. Obviously, we're going to be trying to duplicate or improve on the original Ghostbusters, not the second one. The second one's all right. I think it's the third one, right? where Chris Hemsworth is in there, and he plays like an idiot.
He's
Yeah.
the secretary.
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah,
the new one where they tried to make it like gritty, and which is
Yeah.
weird.
The
Nothing
afterlife.
Ghostbusters after the Millennium counts.
Yeah, I think we just go back to the original. The original knew what it was doing. Okay,
The
So we're
video
trying to
game.
And the cartoon was baller. It was so good.
Yeah.
The cartoon is really fun.
Love the
If you're going to do a Ghostbusters game, you really need to go back and get some of the old necromancy spells back in 3.5 and beforehand, which they had some really anti-undead necromancy spells for wizards. But then 5th edition came out, and all the necromancy spells are like, we create undead. And it's like, well, the power to create is the power to destroy. So where's death to undeath? Or the one, there's like a 9th level spell that you cast it on a vampire, they fail their saving throw, and they're human again.
Yeah, I missed a lot of those 9th level spells from 3.5, but that one
Yeah.
was so unique.
Hey, Strahd, bing! Try
I
again.
love the idea of unturning vampires. That is hilarious.
well,
'cause you
as
could
long as
use
they
it-
don't twinkle.
You could use it, right, to take down a very powerful vampire by returning them to their humanity. But you could also use it to, like, save a vampire who maybe had been recently turned or was reluctant or whatever. So, I don't know. It was a cool spell. 3.5 out of 11.
Now they just
Like
wrap it all into the
Vampire
spell.
game. You have a vampire game, and that's the antagonist, as he keeps unvamping people.
I Am Legend, the original one.
Yes, exactly.
The human is the monster.
So,
Vincent Price?
oh well, that's right. Let's not forget about Vincent. Hammer horror is one of the things I grew up on. So the other idea, and that is, and we've kind of talked a little bit about this, but I just went back to Casper the Ghost. Like, you want a friendly ghost. You need somebody just to hang out with. You don't really want to have a pet wolf. You don't want to have like a friend, animal companion. But that friendly, helpful ghost is your thing. I don't know.
I love Ghost Friend.
Yeah.
I am all about Ghost Friend.
Yeah, I know you are. So and to and to finish my end of things before I let you guys dive on and add anything you need to add, I'm going to say ghosts are real. Open it up to you guys to finish up any other ideas you might have on including Dungeons and Dragons ghosts.
Was that a ghosts are real, no further questions?
Yeah, mic drop.
Brett is just trying to start shit because I did a poll on YouTube the other day, and I was like, help me settle something between me and Doxy. Are ghosts real? And with 3 answers, one was yes, the second one was no, and then the third one was I'm undecided. And it was a 37 to 37% vote for yes and no, with the remainder being undecided. I was like, cool. And it had like 8,000 votes. I was like, you guys are no help at all. Like, this is... So yeah, this one's not you, chat. This one's on you. Like, come on. I think ghosts are cool in D&D because they're so versatile, right? Like, you can do a lot of stuff with ghosts, because ghosts can range from, like, the spirit of a mouse to, like, the spirit of a 10,000-year-old warlord who is trying to destroy the entire realm or whatever, like, and everything in between. So, I don't know. I think ghosts are dope. That's all I really have to say.
They do have some mechanical issues with like an aging attack, which will,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, oh, I'm going to age attack the elf. Okay, so I get a gray hair because I've still got like over 900 years left. It's like, you age attack an Aarakocra and he drops dead.
Yeah.
Or a turtle, because for whatever reason, a creature known for living hundreds of years has a 50-year lifespan in D&D.
It's insane. It's even shorter than the human lives. It's like they tried to make it as inaccurate and silly as possible. I mean, it's a guy who's a turtle, so like I'm not gonna tell Wizards of the Coast that their biology is wrong. But
Like-
tortoises are famous for living like 1,000,000 years. So
And it was always like that, even back in their when they were first introduced back in Dungeon 6. It's like, oh, here's the turtle. It lives 50
They're
years.
just doubling
And
down.
then you had their evil cousins, the snappers, which lived for hundreds of years, or until they mated. Then they died.
is that like
This
a
is just-
commentary on like marriage or something? I knowing who was behind the helm, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, I feel like the aging thing is really silly too, because like you said, I remember running a ghost against a party, and it was an elvish party member who got hit by the aging thing. I was like, oh, you age 5 years, and it's like, oh no. And then everyone else in the party who's all like humans or human adjacent is like, yeah, oh no, like that's really scary for us. Like oh, I'm gonna live 4 less years of my 1,000-year lifespan or whatever. But
It's even worse if you use some of the old Fey races, which didn't age.
yeah,
Oh, I'm a leprechaun. It's like, okay, what's your lifespan? Until you kill me.
cool. 4 more years.
I think the message here is if you're going to be using ghosts and you've got some races with some wonky sort of lifespans because TSR couldn't get it together or Wizards of the Coast failed a ball and bolstered up as well, is you ignore them. You ignore them and you change it because it doesn't make any sense, and you do what is going to make sense for your game. Look, does anybody else want to say anything more about
Yeah.
ghosts?
Yes. My takeaway is that you can tell which races Wizards of the Coast thinks is overpowered because they've planned in the back door to kill them of the aging mechanic. Like, oh man, this is going to be overpowered. Just make them young. Yeah, okay, they die young. So ghosts are going to wipe them out. That's like their fail safe.
planned obsolescence
that's
for
what they're going
character
for.
races.
Yeah.
That's the title of a YouTube video essay. D&D 5th edition and planned obsolescence.
The
Yep.
game
The
balance
Quickling
of
only-
dying young.
Three
The
Logan's
Quickling
Run.
only lives 15 years. You can play with a bunch of haste spells.
Quicklings and the Aetherborn from the Ravnica setting also, they live like 7 or 8 years. Like they are born in a factory and they die in like less than a decade. It's crazy. So yeah, I don't know, but
With the old school haste that automatically aged you a year.
that is true.
That used to be part of haste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
if
used
you
to
really
be-
wanted to be mean to somebody when they went to go to sleep on a watch, you'd have the wizard cast haste on them repeatedly, so they would age like 10 years overnight.
Spells used to have
Yeah, the paladin waking up
consequences.
wondering where all the the paladin wakes
I
up wondering where all the
love that.
gray is.
I would hate to play it, but I would love to watch somebody else suffer through it.
That's why you be a wizard, so that you can do it to other people. And then counterspell
Don't
it if
forget-
someone tries to do it on you.
This is why the gnome wizard has been condemned to never play in some campaigns. Cool.
I just really quickly want to say there are things in this world that we will never fully understand. That's it. That's it. I'm good.
Like Jim Carrey.
Thank you.
How would you use a ghost in your game? And is there any idea that even remotely appeals to you that we've talked about? I have no idea. But we're going to move it on.
And if it's mine, how dare you? Really? Like,